What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, for those of you who are new, and for those of you who are not new, welcome back. Today's video is going to be the mid-year Freakout book tag. This is my first time doing this tag. This is a little short notice. This was not supposed to be the video I was supposed to upload today. I was actually going to upload a bookish days in my life type kind of vlog, but that is not quite ready yet to go up, so I think I want to incorporate a couple more days into that vlog. So this video will be going up instead today. So these are like last minute answers. I did go through my Goodreads for a couple hours today just to get some answers for the questions, but yeah, I'm not gonna like be holding up any books. I'll probably just pop the pictures up on the screen. With that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the first question on the tag. First question is, what is the best book you've read so far this year? For that, I said the favorites. I was looking through my Goodreads at all the books that I've read so far this year. I chose the favorites for this question, just because honestly it was kind of surprising. I went into it thinking it was like a married couple and they were trying to achieve gold at the Olympics, but I was pleasantly surprised to find out that they weren't a married couple. They were actually just a couple in general that had been together since they were kids. That book was really good. I feel like I put this as the best book so far because this was one of my first 5-star reads of this year. It wasn't my first 5-star read, but it was one of my first 5-star reads, and so I put this as my best one just because the other one that was my first 5-star read, I'm using that for a different question. So yeah, as far as like best book I've read so far this year, I think I'm gonna say The Favorites. Number 2 is the best sequel you've read so far this year. Y'all were supposed to get this vlog today, like I said in my intro, so you don't know how good this book was, but Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillick is the best sequel that I've read so far this year. I feel like it was even better than book 1. It wrapped it up perfectly. It was the perfect duology, honestly, in my opinion, to read. Granted, this is the only duology I think I've ever read. Every series that I've ever read has either been like 3 books, like a trilogy, or longer. I don't think I've ever read a duology besides this one, and honestly I was pleasantly surprised. I really feel like it put me on like a fantasy slump, and so yeah, now I'm into romance right now, but I did enjoy it. Number 3 is new release you haven't read yet but want to. I do have a few books on this list, so we're gonna get into it. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is the new V.E. Schwab book that just came out. I don't know if y'all want me to tell y'all what they are about, but I know this one follows vampires. That's all I know. It follows 3 different POVs, and I want to say they're all vampires. I don't know if they're all vampires, but I know somebody in there is a vampire. King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby is on there. I do have these books, I just have not read them yet. S.A. Cosby is one of those authors who I want to read his backlist. Like, I want to read his books in order, pretty much. I do plan on reading his entire like publication list this year. Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Everybody knows Abby Jimenez is one of my favorite authors. She is an Audible author for me. I am hesitant to read Say You'll Remember Me because of like the reviews that people have been given. I've seen good reviews, I've seen not so good reviews, so I'm just a little hesitant because I'm a little nervous going into that because she hasn't let me down yet, and so I'm a little nervous. Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan, obviously that also just came out this year. I read This Could Be Us this year, and I read Before I Let Go last year. Both 5-star reads for me, and the only other book that's on this list that I could think of that I want to read that came out this year is No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. She is also an author who was like a favorite of mine from her debut, When I Think of You. And so I really do want to read this one. This one follows like a pop star and a Major League Baseball player. That is on my June TBR, and I do plan on incorporating that in a reading vlog, so stay tuned for that. Number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm not big on knowing when books are coming out. I usually kind of do my research at the beginning of each month to see what's coming out. I've been lucky to know so far about all of the new releases that are out. Sometimes I find out through Goodreads giveaways what's coming out, but I did do a little bit of research, and I do know that Eternal Ruin by Tigis Gurma is coming out. That is the second book in the Immortal Dark trilogy. What else? The Reaper by Jackson P. Brown is coming out. That is a new author. I have never read anything by her, and I want to say this is a debut fantasy read for her, and it is an adult fantasy, and it follows a girl. I don't know if I can't remember if she has powers or not, but I do know it follows her, and then the male main character is basically the Grim Reaper. So I think that sounds really good. She is a Black fantasy author. Not a lot of Black fantasy authors, at least in the research that I've done, have adult fantasy. It's usually young adult or new adult, where they're like, you know, 18 to like 21. I haven't read too many Black adult fiction, so I mean fantasy, so I'm looking forward to that one, and also finding a new Black fantasy author. Catabasis or Catabasis, however you say it, by R.F. Kuang. I haven't read a book by R.F. Kuang yet, but I do plan on reading at least Babel and the Poppy War this year. The first book of the Poppy War, not the whole series. And I own every book by R.F. Kuang right now, so I just need to get in there and read them. They actually intimidate me a little bit, I'm not even gonna lie. Three Shattered Souls is the third book in the Broken Blades. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or a series, but it's the third book in that series. I am currently reading 5 Broken Blades. Don't know if I'm going to finish it. I might put it on hold because, like I said, I'm not really in a fantasy mood right now. I kind of want to read romance, so I might soft DNF it and pick it back up at a later time. Number 5 is the biggest disappointment this year, and it pains me to say this, but the only book that I was anticipating that disappointed me this year is Kimberly Lemon's new release. And I say disappoint very lightly, because it only disappointed me because it felt rushed. It still gave that Kimberly Lemon-esque writing. It was still funny, it was still entertaining, all of the good things that she gives to her writing. I just felt like it was rushed, and it didn't feel, and I don't want to say complete because it's going to be a series. I feel like I had more questions than answers, and I don't know. I just feel like the second book is going to follow a different character, so that means this book didn't really wrap up well. But we'll see when the second book comes out, because I am going to continue the series just to see, because like I said, I have so many questions. Question 6, biggest surprise this year. So I took this one back to my first 5-star read of the year, and that was Real by Kennedy Ryan. Now, granted, I had read Before I Let Go last year, and that was a 5-star for me, but going into Real, I was a little hesitant because I had read When You Are Mine, the first book in the Bennett series, and I really didn't like that book. I actually DNF'd that series. I don't think I'm going to continue that series. And then I read Before I Let Go, which I did enjoy. So to go from DNFing a series to a 5-star read, I was kind of hesitant going into Real by Kennedy Ryan, but I enjoyed that book so much. Like, it was more than I could have expected from it, and I think that might have helped the rating, honestly, because going into it I was nervous, so I didn't have high expectations going into it. But it was such a good book. It was such a good read. I've talked about this book before. I think I actually talked about it in my wrap up, so I'm not going to harp on it, but really good book, 5 stars, and it was a great surprise. But number 7 is a favorite new author. I feel like this is kind of, well, it's not obvious because y'all haven't seen the vlog yet, but Rachel Gillick definitely 100% times 10 became a favorite author of mine. Her writing is just so poetic, and her fantasy writing is the kind of fantasy writing that I enjoy, like that dark kind of poetic kind of like gothic vibe. I enjoy it, and I think that's the first kind of vibe that I've read before. Kingdom of the Wicked gave that vibe as well, but I haven't finished that series yet. This duology I have finished, and it was just really great, and it gave, her writing is just so just poetic. I don't know how else to describe it. The riddles and the rhymes, and it's just like everything makes sense. Like, there were no plot holes. I just really enjoy her writing. Number 8 is newest fictional crush, and just off the top of my head, I had to look through my Goodreads. I put Judah Cross, was that his name? From This Could Be Us. I just feel like Judah was the kind of man, he's just like that man, you know, like he was there for her from beginning to end. When he found out who her husband was, he was just like, I can't believe that that's your husband. Like, and that's not a spoiler. That literally happens in like the first couple of chapters. But yeah, he was just a really good man, and I feel like even when things were just like strictly platonic between them, he still went out of his way to just understand Soledad and meet her where she was at, you know, like she wasn't ready to date. Okay, cool. Judah was just he was a really good man, and I also feel like not only was he a good man to Soledad, he was a good man to his kids, and you get to see him be this parental figure to these kids, and his kids have autism, so he's battling twin boys who both have autism, but they're on separate ends of the spectrum, and you know, trying to give them both equally the same love, you know. Number 9, newest favorite character off gate, the Shepherd King. He started out in book 1 being like this just annoying like nuisance, and by the end of book 2 I genuinely felt for him, and I want to cry just thinking about it. He was such like a headache in the first book, and then you get to the second book and you're like, wow, you're actually a really good person or monster. I don't really know how to describe him, but I just feel like his character growth and his character, I don't even want to call it growth. It's just once all his secrets were being kind of bared to the world, it was just like you grow to understand him and why he thinks the way he does, or why he does the things that he does. But that was just a really good series, and I'm gonna say him and Elspeth, because I mean they're basically one and the same pretty much. If you've read it, then you know why I say that. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. The only book that's made me cry recently is the ending of Two Twisted Crowns. Honestly, that whole book kind of made me cry, because when it opened up, when you read the end of book 1, once you go into book 2, I feel like I went into it with so much emotion because of the way book 1 ended, and so I was already kind of teary-eyed, and by the time we got to the end, I was a mess. It was just really good. It wrapped up really well, and it was just emotional. Like, you have to read it. Number 11 is a book that made you happy. And for this one, I put Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. That's the only book that I can think of that just didn't really make me cry or make me sad. I was just happy all around. It was a very good like summer read because they're in Tulum and it's a spicy book, and you know, Rome is a really good male main character. I could relate to Janelle, not in the, you know, my sister's married my ex kind of way, but just like how she kind of handled things, trying to be a people pleaser to the people around you. You know, you want everyone to be happy with you and with what you're doing for them and for people around you. And so I could relate to her as far as that goes. And like I said, Rome was a really good male main character when it came to Janelle, when it came to taking care of Janelle. And so I feel like that book was just all around like happy. It had a happy ending. And you know, yeah. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I'm actually gonna go grab these so I can show them to you guys. The camera might have moved a little bit. I accidentally kicked it when I was getting up. But these are the 3 books that I've gotten this year that I feel like are probably some of the prettiest books that I've gotten. So, Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven, sorry. This side? Yeah, we'll do it on this side. Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven. This one is really pretty. It has the gold spray edges. This is, I believe, this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive. I'm not 100% sure, but I really liked this right here. I love when books have the gold on the front like this. It's not just like a plain hardback, but yellow is one of my favorite colors. And this is what the end papers look like. And so I thought this was really pretty, along with the gold edges, like the gold spray edges. I just feel like that's a really pretty hardcover. Then the Rebel Witch, this is the second book in the Crimson Moth. Yeah, the Crimson Moth duology. This is another duology that I can't wait to read. This one doesn't have like pretty end papers, but I thought that this was really pretty. Boiling Moth with the blue hardcover. I have one more that I want to show you guys. This, I don't think the hardcover has anything on it. No, it doesn't. I just think that this is it's just so cute. It really, this screams like young adult, like high school read. And I just feel like this is so cute. And then the 2 black characters on the front, it just gives like high schoolers and middle schoolers, especially African American or just people of color, young adults, just something really pretty to read. And it just screams high school. Like this, I don't know, that new show that came out on Netflix, Forever, this kind of puts me in that mindset. So I think this is a really pretty cover as well. We have 2 more questions, and actually this one is going to go by really quickly because I'm going to just put them up on the screen. I am going to list them, but I'm going to put them up on the screen. So 13 is books you need to read by the end of the year. So if you watch my 25 books that I want to read before 2025, then you will see all the books that I listed in there. I am changing that. I've only read 5. Actually, I'm not changing it by much. There are a couple books on there that I just don't really have like the want to read anymore, so I am swapping out a couple of them, but for the most part I have read 5 books off of that list, and I still have 20 more to go. So probably won't finish all 20 of them, but we'll see. But anyways, books that I need to read by the end of the year are King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby, Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan, Immortal Dark by T.K. Skirma, The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillick, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, also by V.E. Schwab, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, Legendborn by Tracy Dion, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, Priory of the Orange Tree, that's by Samantha Shannon, Heavenly Bodies by Imani Irayu. Yeah. Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicarelli, Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicarelli, The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winters, and Emerald Ashes by Saba Tahir, Vicious, also by V.E. Schwab, and Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Those are the 20 books that I want to read before the end of 2025, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And the last question prompt thing is any books you feel you should mention. I would also like to read The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. I think that's how you say her name. I would definitely love to read that at some point this year. That is it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys do this tag too. If you're a booktuber and you're out there, you should do this tag as well. I am enjoying watching these videos because not only am I finding new books to add to my very long list of books I want, it's just entertaining to see what people have read so far this year. So if you have a booktube channel, go ahead and do this tag, go ahead. And yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that is all from me. I will see you guys next week in my next video. Bye guys.